But you can see it's got the motor in the back, and then it also had the motor up front. And again, it's a twin boom aircraft, which, how I feel about those. So off in the distance, here's their intact T-33 Thunderbird. It's basically a P-80 with a dual person cockpit, slightly different radar, and it's got these integrated wingtip fuel tanks rather than your under-mounted ones that you see on the P-80. Normally on the P-80, they'd be mounted under the wing. We have another trainer here, a pretty big one for the Air Force, the T-37, the Tweet. It was built by Cessna. As you can see, it's really low to the ground, but that didn't stop the Air Force from finding a way to stick 1,000-pound bombs underneath it and making it the A-37 Dragonfly in Vietnam. But this was a major trainer for both the Air Force and Navy in the 60s and 70s. This was your basic jet trainer, and then you could graduate up to something like the T-1 Jayhawk or a few other interesting aircraft. But it is, I always love the look of it because it's just so low to the ground and sleek. It just it looks like a if I could own any plane for like private, just general aviation use, I would love a Tweet. It looks like a sports car of the sky, Over here, someone's already asked for it. This is the F11f B Voodoo. So this one would not have guns on it. This one would actually mount AIR-2 Genies underneath, which were air-to-air nuclear missiles. You'd stick two of them right under here. I usually call it a chin mount, but I guess it is technically belly mounted, but they'd be right here beneath the cockpit. You would have a pilot up front and a radar and weapons officer in the back here. This was a your pretty standard air defense interceptor for a long portion of U.S. history up until the late 60s, I think, early 70s. You'd see these operating everywhere, and they actually they converted some of the A models into reconnaissance aircraft, and they used those during the Cuban Missile Crisis and during Vietnam for high-speed, lower-altitude reconnaissance that the U-2 couldn't provide. Over here, we have another plane with a similar engine layout to the Voodoo, the twin engines underneath coming out below the tail. We have the F4.
Known to us all by this point.
Yep. Yeah. This is a F4C, as you can see here. It's got the big old nose. You could fit your 4 Sparrows underneath, and you could fit Sidewinders on the side, or you could run a ground loadout and fit a bunch of bombs underneath. It was your pretty much your standard military aircraft during Vietnam. It was a pretty common sight to see.
On all the roles that you can imagine, pretty much. Like recon, ground attack, air defense, pretty much anything.
Absolutely. It says that this one was a Vietnam veteran. It was used in Vietnam. So it is it's battle tested and battle proven. This one, when did it say it was retired? It was retired in 1987. So this thing was used for a good portion, for a good few years. It had a long life before it was retired to this museum here. If we come over here, here's another aircraft someone was asking about. Here's our the F11f Thunder Chief.
Oh yeah, have to admit I'm a sucker for this one. I like this plane.
Oh yeah. The Thunder Chief is just a great plane. My favorite picture of it is the one where it's carrying 18 750-pound bombs underneath.
Yeah, that's the
And he's just like
600 one.
showing its belly. It's just this thing was just a great ground attacker and an okay fighter. I mean, it got shot down a lot in Vietnam, and it had to get pulled early because of that. But it did have some success stories.
Yeah, well,
There's a pilot who.
on its
Sorry, go
conception,
ahead.
it was mostly for that. When it was born, it was mainly intended to do like bombardments with nuclear weapons,
Yeah,
right?
it was an interdictor, which means it could technically be used as a fighter, but mainly it was for close ground support and
Yeah,
bombing.
mainly
There is
on the rear lines.
yeah, there is one story from a pilot, a claim, so take it with a grain of salt from this guy, but he says he got 3 kills in one day with it because he shot one down with a MiG-19 down with a Sidewinder, one down with his guns, and then he ejected his bombs into the path of another fighter and hit the plane. I don't know if I buy that story, but it's a heck of a story.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's true, that's pretty impressive. But yeah, this was a really capable fighter. Could go up to Mach 2.8 at the right altitude with the right loadout. Has just it's mostly engine. I mean, you got the cockpit up here, you got your fuel, and then everything back there is mostly engine. So that's how it achieved those speeds. There's actually a comparison I've seen of the intakes on this to the F-35 and how the F-35's design is lightly derived from this intake structure with the inward facing intakes.
Mm.
But you can see they have some more bomb carts underneath, showing off various bomb loadouts. But this was it was used up until the early days of Vietnam, but unfortunately, like I said, it had a very high loss rate compared to other American aircraft, leading to it being quickly replaced by the F-4 for all roles except Wild Weasel, which is suppression of enemy air defenses. So basically, their job was to fly around and get shot
3
at,
months. Wow, how the
and then
time
shoot
has
back at
flown
whoever was
by.
shooting.
Yeah, those
But
guys.
that was the F104G variant, so not this one.
Yeah,
But that's basically the life of or the F105G. That's basically the whole lifespan of the
Yeah, I'm
F105.
here.
mm.
Here we have it's a MiG 2023. That's yeah. So we got a MiG 23 right here. What Air Force was this with? Bulgarian MiG 23. There we
There
go.
you go.
That's an
Someone
interesting
on the
one.
chat, when you were on the other angle, while looking at the Thunder Chief and all that, someone mistake it with the mistook it with the aardvark with the F-111.
Oh yeah, it's
Uh,
got a bit of an aardvarky look
yeah,
to it.
I didn't really want to spoil it,
Yeah.
but there you go. That
But
is not an aardvark; it's the MiG-23.
so one question I have about the MiG 23 is how did it come to be here? How did you guys get a MiG
Very
23?
bizarre because we weren't looking for it. We had a gentleman who lives in New York, but he's got a lot of the big 23s in Amarillo, Texas,
Okay,
and donated it to us.
fair
He's
enough.
donating several of his planes to various smaller museums throughout the country,
Okay,
and so we were one of the ones he selected.
so he just called you up. He's like, "Hey, you guys, want a MiG
Yeah,
23?" It's
yeah.
like, ah, why not?
He had 8
Fair
that
enough.
still flies, and if we had a nice $1.87 million, we could have bought one of those. But for the scratch,
Yeah, fair enough. I can't blame
That's
you.
amazing.
so
Goddamn.
yeah.
But
So we just got this in late in the summer,
okay,
and once we got it all assembled, next
All right.
year we'll get the paint and the bodywork
okay,
complete on it. So
okay. That's awesome. I was wondering about that because it's not every day you see a
no,
MiG
MiG
23.
MiG-23, absolutely. Yeah, I'm very surprised.
Yeah, that's not a plane we would go for, but it completes a Cold War story.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's a really rare sight. We're usually on other museums that we have do. We're usually seeing like the NX-17 or the 21, but the 23
yeah,
is a rare
you'll see a
sight.
MiG 17 and 21 and stuff. That's a dime a dozen. MiG 23s, those are the uncommon ones. I always the gear design on that thing is absolutely nuts. The just over engineered is how I'd put it. I remember hearing that the lady who designed that got like an Order of Lenin Star for designing. They're like,
For the signing,
we're gonna
yeah,
give you the
I
highest
remember
honor
you.
in the nation for designing that crazy landing gear system, which is just hilarious.
Oh yeah.
Over here we have a F11f Tiger. This one I'm sure a lot of you recognize. You can see the two 20 mil, the weird mounting on the 20 mil underneath the air intakes over here. This one is painted up as a Blue Angel decals for it yet, I believe. Yeah. So they're gonna get that decaled up properly sooner or later. But the F11F is an absolutely gorgeous aircraft. Another one of those planes that it's like a sports car of the sky. It just looks sleek and fast. Might not have been used very long in a combat role, but it certainly made up for that with its Blue Angels performances. It sort of I would argue that it's one of the planes that really cemented the Blue Angels as a famous
Yeah,
entity.
I would say so.
Absolutely.
And it really tells you, it's like a testament to how fast technology moved on in aviation
Oh
during
yeah.
that time.
Practically by the time it went into service, we had already surpassed it. And it's like,
Yeah.
bring out the next one. So that is there's one other thing I wanted to ask about. There's a missile over there, a rocket or a missile on the corner over there. What's that?
That was one that was over on base. It's an inert. This is something that I am told by one of the officers over here. When military bases set up real quickly,
yeah,
they use the faked ones to put out there. So if they were observed on satellite, those were easy to move. So
fair enough. So it's a decoy missile. I was looking at it, I'm like, I couldn't figure out what it was. I'm like, what? I've never seen that missile before. And I guess that makes sense. It's an interesting story, though. I mean, it's fascinating. There's one plane left. We've seen everything in the fenced-in area here. There's oh, do you want to show me the thing upstairs you were telling me about? All right. Yeah, we'll check that out. That's fine. These people probably want to see the mess. I'm trying to get a possible tour going one day back in the restoration hangar at the Air Force Museum, and I'm sure they'll all just fall in love with that.
Yeah.
These are the kinds of people that want to see the down and dirty restoration and museum work. That's so it's always a treat seeing these planes, but seeing the behind the scenes is always really cool. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. This is one of the better aviation museum collections in the country, I'd say.
I'll tell you, now that you are indoors, I'll tell you. Once again, we appreciate the commitment for this because we could really tell it was cold as heck outside. Goddamn.
Oh yeah.
Not a problem. We love showing it off. So this here, this is about General 3-star General William Kepner. Started out World War I in the Marines, went to World War II, and then transitioned from Army Air Corps to the Air Force. One of the things that he was, one of his recognitions was the Explorer 1, where he was commissioned by National Geographic and the Army Air Corps to take a balloon up into the stratosphere to see how far they can go. Got about 61,000 feet before the balloon ruptured. Now, at the time in 1934, that's the highest anyone's ever been.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got a piece of the balloon. We've created this half of the sphere, and we're going to do it up so people can kind of get a hands-on feel for what it was like, how cramped it was inside the gondola. And over here we have a picture of what the gondola looked like. And the valve is the actual valve from the balloon, as well as the valve handle over here, and a piece of the balloon as well. So we like to be able to tell this story. And the great nephew of the general is one of our board members and volunteers, and he's loaned us all these different objects.
Yeah, that's an incredible story. That's always a crazy one. It's, he got out of World War I, and then it's like, hey, you want to go higher than any man's ever? You want to go 3 times higher than any man's ever gone before? It's like, yeah, sure, why not?
Exactly.
And then he had to, once the balloon ruptured, he had to bail out of there.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's behind this is he was the guy that, because the strapping got caught inside the valve or the opening there, and they were getting close to 500 feet when these two were able to jump up from it. So yeah,
I believe they have some pieces of Explorer one at the Air Force Museum as well. Yes. Yeah, they got that little general balloon exhibit. They got the balloons and the blimps and the zeppelins. But yeah, that story is one of the crazy ones.
Yeah.
And would this be the size of the escape hatch, or?
Yes.
So imagine fitting out of that while your balloon is falling from 60,000 feet with a bunch of gear strapped to you. It's no wonder he got stuck.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane. And one of those things that it was famous at the time, but it's sort of like the story is I wouldn't say forgotten, but it's not as told as it used to be, which is really cool.
It certainly is.
There's one other thing I saw that I want to show off over here. They have a ejection seat here in honor of prisoners of war and missing in action. Gone but not, or you are not forgotten is the common phrase for POW MIA. And this is what museums like this are really here for, is commemorating these people as well as the ones who were killed in action, and commemorating everyone's commemorating what it's all for, basically.
Yeah.
So that's something I always love about these museums, is at the end of the day, you have all these planes, you have all this equipment, but it's all about who was behind the equipment.
The people at the end.
Exactly.
It's the people and the stories.
Absolutely. Well, I think we've seen it all, haven't we?
Yeah.
So, everyone, thank you to Tom for opening up the museum for us. If you want to donate, what website can they go to?
If you go to GrissomAirMuseum.com.
So it's GrissomAirMuseum.com, GRISSOM. You can donate. Otherwise, another good option is if you're ever in the area, you can visit and donate that way. Maybe get something from the gift shop, or just walk around, get a membership. It is a wonderful collection. It's worth a drive out. I guess that's about all I have for you. Thanks for coming out today. Thank you for having us. You're very welcome.
Yeah. So final thing, I can't really stress enough the like the thanks I can. I'll take the privilege to speak for all of us to make the opportunity for opening the museum. Like it's really a good collection. Thank you, Roker, and also thank you, Thomas.
Yeah, well, it's really one of the nice things about this is because we change up the inside every year, kind of give people a different look, feel, different object, new stories, and that's we like to share that.
Mm.
It's always changing. So even if you do visit, come back again and visit. I'll probably be back up here next year and the year after. I come up this way often enough. So it's my first time actually making it out here, but I definitely will have to make the detour again and again. Definitely with our B-58, what they have wanted to wear, that was a fourth built SU-80. So that's the oldest B-58. Yeah, I knew there was something about it. I've been reading up about the place, and I'm on the B-58 Hustlers Facebook appreciation page, and they're always gushing over that one. I knew there was something about it, but yeah, absolutely, this museum has an incredible collection. He said it's small, but don't believe him. This is a pretty big, this is a pretty decent sized collection compared to some museums that we've checked out.
Well, I wouldn't consider this collection small at all. Like it was,
Oh, yeah.
was amazing. Yeah.
How many aircraft do you have here? We now have 25. 25 aircraft. There you go. And more to come, I'm sure. We got plenty of room. There you go. I noticed that. You got room for an F-15 and F-16. Other stuff in there, why not, right? But yeah, so that is the Grissom Air Museum. I hope everyone enjoyed it, and thanks again to Tom for opening up for us.
All right. That... Okay.
You're very welcome. Thank you. Let's see at the end how many people. We're gonna upload it afterwards, so there'll be more people watching. But I think we had.
Yeah, currently there's 120 watching, but the average numbers were, what did you say, Tech? Like 2.5K?
Generally after everything is put together, it's about 2,500 to 3,000 people. So.
Yeah, that's hopefully 3,000. That'll see your museum and want to come check it out. Yeah, I'm. This was great.
Sorry, I'm just checking something real quick.
Yeah, don't worry. Okay, if people in the chat have any final impressions about it, or I don't know, any comment or questions. I think Rokker now is gonna take a break, I suppose. So. Because he's been doing a lot of. Yeah, also because it's practically under. He got the. Oof. The thing on his feet, you remember?
Oh yeah.
On his ankle.
Yeah, he's had a few issues with his ankle recently, so our trooper has been able to get through it, which is good. Let's see. That's the issue. Sorry, I'm just trying to sort something out. Yeah. Okay. And that should be that done. Come on. Yeah, there we go. Sorry, Rokker reminded me that I should probably be donning a tech mask instead of a normal one, so I had to quickly order one. So. Yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I think we have a very unique opportunity here. The fact that we have There's quite large community now. You know, it's basically 50,000 people. If you put everything together, maybe even more at this point, probably about 60,000. And the fact we're able to do things like this, and the fact that we have, you know, Rokker who wants to do, you know, stuff like this, and other people who are also interested, it's only a good thing. And I understand that a lot of you guys, you know, obviously, if you're not from America, or maybe you are, and you know, we're all feeling the COVID stuff, and have been for quite a long time. So the fact that, you know, maybe we can give you guys a glimpse at some cool history, and give you guys a glimpse at some different things, is always going to be positive. Understand that there is going to be more of this stuff in the future. Even tomorrow, I think we're doing some more stuff. So yeah, there's gonna be even more stuff on the way. So look forward to that, and it should be wonderful. I'm already looking forward to it. The two today were wonderful, especially that second one. Like, I can't thank Tom enough. Like, it's as simple as that. He was a great host, and I hope at least, you know, I'm basically going to be donating personally to the museum.
Yeah, I think I am also.
Yeah.
Like
that
whatever.
that was really good. Beautiful. Right. Okay.
Was the Mix-23 a surgical leak for the next update inserted by you guys? I don't think so.
No, I heard it was an F11f, so I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Oh shit.
About 60,000 people. Let's form a country. True.
It really surprises me when Rokker or some of these guys that are more acquainted in that field say, "Oh, yeah, this is a pretty small museum. Oh, this is a pretty small collection." And during the stream, everyone was asking like, "Oh, do you have this plane? Oh, do you have this plane?" Yes, we have it.
One thing I do want to bring up before we get back into some gameplay is we have reached a fantastic moment with the YouTube setup. And you may be thinking, what is this? What milestone have we hit? You know, what is it? We've bested the European Union. You know, we are the #1 search for European when it comes to YouTube. What else could we have done in this marvelous time? Well, you know what it is? We are now larger than the country of Liechtenstein. And I am showing the wrong fucking thing, so give me 2 seconds while I fix that. So yeah, now on YouTube, there are more subscribers to the channel than the country of Liechtenstein.
We already beat Andorra, now we're going for Liechtenstein.
Yeah. So Liechtenstein has 38,000 people, 378. And then on just the YouTube channel, we now have 39,717. So if we wanted to, we could definitely take over that country. Also, like, I'm pretty sure, yeah, so the South Africa is Coming video, which came out like 2 days ago, is just less than the population of Liechtenstein. So it's so weird to put it in like those terms, you know?
Yeah.
It's so odd. Yeah. We have bested we have bested a nation that you can rent for 2 days. Which is a ridiculous thing.
Concept.
Make a video on it? What? We are now more popular than Liechtenstein. Q&A. Oh, we're also beating Monaco and San Marino. So there you go. We are conquering Europe slowly. God.
Next stop, Luxembourg. That's the population of Luxembourg.
There's probably a few million, actually, that one.
Oh, okay.
Maybe, I don't know, actually. We can take the Vatican easy. That might be worth it. Alright, let's see. Luxembourg population. What is that nowadays? Luxembourg. Oh, you know what? 613,000. So we're 5%. I think we can get there eventually. Can we rent Tech Hub for 2 days? Probably. It's probably not in my remit. Do you think a DO, you think setting a cap where 8.7 can't see anything above it, 9.3 and 9.7 can't see anything above 10.3 would help with balancing? No.
No.
No, not at all. I think all you've done there is just create really heavy meta brackets that, therefore, like, nobody will play 8.3s or 8.0s because they'll just get shit on by
I would only play
8.7s.
X7.
Yeah,
You remember when
exactly.
they did that event that only had until 9.3 and everyone was just playing the XM1 and the T64A at the end of the day?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
That was a rough time. Anyway, I'm going to take a 5-minute
shit.
break. Oh,
Dude, hold on. I forgot to show off a plane.
oh, motherfucker. All right.
Damn it.
I forgot a plane.
How did you forget a plane? How did you miss it?
Because it's outside. It's not. It's outside of the gate.
All right. Whenever you're ready.
See, here's inside.
Wait,
Here's
it's
the
not
museum.
loaded yet.
Yeah,
It's not loaded yet.
Oh no.
There it is. You're up.
So here's the museum, and here's the plane I forgot all the way over here.
All right,
This is actually really cool, and I forgot to show this off. This is my first time seeing one in person, so I'm very giddy about it. Let's call it. This is a T2 Buckeye, which is a carrier trainer aircraft. And it was used. Oh, geez, there's so much snow. It was used in the. I believe they first started building them in the 50s, and they didn't retire it until 2004.
All right.
And you can see it's got this really interesting engine configuration where they have the 2 engines in the bottom right here, or the 2 intakes in the bottom, and it goes straight to the back here. And it's a very unusual configuration. The only other plane I can think of that has it, and this resembles it a lot, is the F3D, the Skynight. This plane, for all intents and purposes, it pretty much looks and feels like a miniature F3D.
They are from a
They'd always be
comparable
painted in
period.
this white and orange paint scheme. It has a tail hook on the back here. And it was basically your standard carrier training aircraft for most pilots for a very long period of time. The wing, actually, here's a really cool thing. So this was built by North American, who built the Sabres and so on, and the FJ4 Furies and whatever and whatnot. Oh, I forgot 2 planes. God damn it. But the wing for this was actually taken from the FJ1 Fury, which is the first member of the F-86
Naval
F-86
relatives.
So that wing is actually the same one you would find on FJ1 Fury, which is really cool. So there's that, and this is the other thing I forgot. And it's another thing I was really excited about, so I don't know how I forgot it. This is the YS11. Oh, it's a long walk. So much snow. It's in my shoes now. So the YS11 is a post-war Japanese aircraft designed to replace DC-3s and DC-4s that the Japanese were using after their surrender. Oh, I'm getting so much snow in my shoes. This one is missing the propellers, but it would have propellers or turbo props, I should say. Would have turbo props right here on the sides. I believe they were Rolls-Royce darts. And these were used pretty extensively in Japan as a regional aircraft to replace the DC-3 and DC-4. But it was also used by the U.S. a lot. A lot of U.S. carriers at the time, and there were a lot of U.S. Air carriers, used these because they're cheap, help boost Japan's economy, so it's easy to get the government to write it off. And it actually held a decent number of passengers. It was fairly cheap to operate. They were looking for something to replace their DC-3s and DC-4s as well. And so you'd have your exhaust back here for your turboprops. And you have big old props up here. I believe they'd stretch down to about here. And they just operate with general small airlines throughout the U.S. and Japan. The thing I always find funny about it is there was a nearly identical aircraft made by Armstrong Siddeley, I believe it was. That used the exact same engines and had a very similar passenger count. But it was just made by Britain, so Britain used them. Meanwhile, the U.S. bought the Japanese one. I always find that kind of entertaining as a thought. But this is really cool because it's the first post-war Japanese aircraft I've ever seen, even if it is civilian. It's really interesting. Yeah. I'm gonna walk through some snow and get a good side view of it. It is a beautiful aircraft. Commercial aircraft are gorgeous to me.
That kind of aircraft was mainly used for like anti-submarine warfare and all that, right?
Yes, the Japanese did actually use these in military capacity as anti-submarine aircraft. In the U.S., though, especially including this one, they were primarily used for small aircraft carriers, or small aircraft, small airline carriers. But yeah, so those are the two aircraft I forgot. I'll have to see if Tech can edit those together. Seamlessly.
Probably can. Yeah, he probably can.
But that was this is just a really cool museum. Like I said, anyone who can visit should visit, and even if you can't, find a way.